Toi Gye is the pen name of a 16th century scholar, Yi Wang, who is regarded as an authority on Neo-Confucianism, which was a renewal in the interest of Confucianism teachings itself, with added attention to spiritual and intellectual growth. Neo-Confucianism would quickly spread across East Asia and become a basis of philosophical teachings in the West. The 37 movements chosen for the pattern represent the birthplace of Yi Wang, and the diagram represents the scholar for which he was noted. Pattern Toi Gye is a good test of control of your stances, because there's lots of changes between short stances such as L stance and longer stances like walking stance, but also sequential sitting stances to test your symmetry, balance and control, and finally a jump into an X stance, again to test your balance and agility. So I'd like to share with you some of my observations from practice over the years of some things that may help you improve your performance of Pattern Toi Gye. Remember to begin each move with a quick look in the direction that you're about to make the move. So here a quick turn of the head to the left. Each block must work both arms elbow to elbow for a strong block with reaction force. Be sure that the L stance is not too short, as often happens in patterns Cheong-Gun and Toi Gye. This simultaneous low block and back fist strike to rear is done in slow motion to show the positioning. Be sure that the back fist is reaching backwards as your opponent is standing behind you, as shown here. And then of course make sure the 3 opening moves are symmetrical when repeated to the right hand side. Note that the reaction hand comes right up to the shoulder before drawing back up for the next slow motion low block with back fist strike to rear. With X fist pressing block, make sure you have the same arm, same leg in front as the strongest arm goes underneath. With a strong middle section front kick, make sure that your foot shape is correct and that you return the kick so that your weight doesn't just fall forwards, and you remake a strong walking stance with double punch. The posture position is done in slow motion with the fists vertically to your side above the belt and in a closed stance with the feet and toes together. The next sequence of moves, Bakat Pamok Sanmaki or W-shaped block, is probably the most difficult part of this pattern to get just right, so we'll need to break it down to practice. Remember that whilst this is a W and symmetrical shape, both arms and legs are doing different things. The leading arm is making a block, whilst the opposite arm is a reaction force to that block. The leading leg is throwing your weight forwards to make the block effective, whilst the opposite leg is staying behind for stability and support. So moving forward, you're going to move the arm and leg at the same time to make the block, and everything will finish together in a symmetrical position, because the reaction force must finish at the same time as your block. Finally, to emphasize the strength of the movement, the feet move in a stamping motion. So lift the knee, throw the body weight round, stamp as you block, and pull the opposite arm round as a reaction force. Try to practice with a mirror or a partner to make sure your symmetry is accurate throughout these moves. Next, right foot to left, make low section Du Pamok Maki, making sure your shoulders and your back is kept upright and you brought your arms into this block from a high position to make it strong. Shift the front foot to walking stance, locking the back leg straight with a grab to the shoulders, ready for Muruk Chagi, knee kick, middle section, making sure that you use the hips to push this kick forward to make it strong. After a strong guarding block, a low section front kick, so just under the belt, again pushing to walking stance with flat fingertip thrust. Make sure that on each change of stance, the walking stance gets a straight leg after the kick, so repeat on the opposite side, strong block, low section front kick, lock the back leg out straight with high fingertip thrust. Do make sure each of these thrusts come from the hip and not halfway towards the target. Now, as the next move is a back fist strike to rear, you must take a quick glance in that direction before looking back to the front. Then you will outreach with the back fist and make low block to the front, back into L stance once more. Next is a jump to avoid being swept by a pole, landing in X stance with X fist pressing block to block a front kick or knee kick. Make sure your right foot is flat and your right arm is underneath, so same arm, same leg, as though you would in walking stance. Do make sure that when you make walking stance from this position, that you make it wide enough and that your back leg is straight for Dupang Mokmaki, as this stance is often made too short and narrow. The last 7 moves in pattern Toi Gye show good stance control using the hips, pushing from an L stance to a walking stance and also changing direction of the walking stance. So here, going from low section knife hand guarding block in L stance, pushing the front foot to walking stance for circular block, push the back leg out straight and lock the hips. Then you're going to step to the opposite side, make the same low section knife hand guarding block in L stance once more. And then again, you're going to push the front foot to walking stance for circular block, keeping that back leg straight, hips and shoulders square, and locking the hips, the arm blocking at 45 degrees. Now you're going to change direction of the walking stance to face the front, make the same circular block, make sure the rear leg is now locked straight, shoulders and hips square. Change once more to the right hand side, locking the rear leg straight once more, facing the right hand side in walking stance, before lifting the right leg up to sit through into sitting stance, sit low and punch to the center to finish, making sure the hips, shoulders are square and the feet are parallel to the front. Draw the right leg up to the left to finish in closed stance once more. Do remember that these are the last few moves the examiner is going to see of your pattern, so you need to make sure the circular blocks are strong with 2 impact points, and that when you change direction you lock the stance to face the new direction with a strong circular block at 45 degrees. As you do this so many times, you should practice changing the hips to lock the stance square to make it look strong, ready for a big strong finish in sitting stance. This was pattern Toi Gye, so please subscribe if you'd like to see other patterns broken down, and I hope this has been of useful to you. Thank you for watching.